Welcome along then to episode 7 of the Exeter Chamber of Commerce lockdown show in association with our friends at Bitpod. My name is Matt Young, I'm your host today, and at the beginning of the show I want to tell you about something that's definitely happening at the end of the show. We're going networking. We asked you last week, would you like to give it a go? And you said yes. So hang around at the end of the show. We'll be putting a link into the chat box on the right hand side. All you have to do is either click on that link or copy and paste it into a browser, and Helen Scholes from the Exeter Chamber of Commerce will be there to facilitate the session. So networking happening at the end of today's show. Kicking off today's show though is Paul Nero, a board member of the Exeter Chamber of Commerce. Paul, over to you.
Hello everybody. Before we start today, I just wanted to say something about Exeter's Chamber of Commerce itself, that we're not just Exeter's Chamber of Commerce, we're actually here for businesses around the Greater Exeter area, what's become known as the Greater Exeter area, the travel to work area, the get to Exeter in more or less an hour area. And we're going to make this a thriving Exeter area once more. Not long after we went into lockdown, the Chamber of Commerce ran a survey. This was around the points when the details of the furlough scheme were becoming a bit clearer. We were starting to wonder what the word furlough meant. We knew it had been tripping off people's tongues ever since. And when the Chancellor first stood up and mentioned it, we just shrugged our shoulders and thought he was making up a new word. And ideas like Sybil, we were trying to work out grant schemes and all that kind of thing. The kind of thing that we've been talking about on lockdown over the last few weeks. Others were, and still are perhaps, concerned that it might not be possible to go on in business, and the Chamber of Commerce wanted to understand what those feelings were. So we did run a survey. More than half the people who responded at that time, this was really worrying, said they didn't think their business would last 6 months after the end of lockdown. Well, here we are a few months on, and we've run another survey, and we're just starting to analyse that now. Not quite as depressing as that first survey, and it does show we are a thriving city and there is some resilience in the people and the businesses here in Exeter. So this new survey asked people what they think now compared to last month. About half the people who responded to that survey said things are a bit more optimistic now. About a quarter scored that optimism a 6 or 7 on a scale of 10. So sort of moderately optimistic, but optimistic nonetheless. And there is still such some uncertainty still around in the market. So as a Chamber of Commerce, we're going to be monitoring what's going on in the market, what we can do about it, certainly what we can do to help. 2/3 of businesses in this survey say that when they do start to reopen, they're going to be at half capacity or less. So certainly there's going to be some bad news in the market moving forward for some time. And what we want to understand is what that is and what we can do to help. It's clear we're in for a long climb back. More research is indicating businesses isn't going to be the same again. More people are going to continue working from home. More people are going to be having things delivered. There are going to be new opportunities for businesses as well. So we hope in the weeks and months ahead that the Exeter Chamber of Commerce can help you with new ideas, new ways of putting people together. And we're doing a lot of that out of necessity, of course, online through virtual meetings like this one. Our Friday lockdown show, where we've shared opinions and ideas, possibly learnt a thing or two over the last few weeks. More than 1,200 people have now tuned in to one of the lockdown shows, either live or they've caught up on YouTube. And we're always looking for great guest speakers. So if you think that's you, do get in touch via Lisa at One Voice Media. And you should do that as well if you've got a piece of good news to share. Now, today, the Chamber is launching its Stronger Together campaign. You'll find out more about that shortly. Basically, we've asked people to record 10-second videos saying who they are and what business they shop at locally. The idea to get business and procurement operating within that Greater Exeter area again and hopefully promoting your business. So that's a really interesting piece coming up in a few minutes' time. Once we get into June, the lockdown show is going to go fortnightly as life, we hope, gets back to some form of normality. We're also thinking about, and it's just a thought at this moment, about some sponsorship opportunities, perhaps sponsored content, perhaps a sponsor for the new fortnightly lockdown show. If you've got an opinion about that, if you think that's you, we'd like to know. So feedback again through Lisa at One Voice Media, who supports the Chamber of Commerce so well. So that's it from me. Without further ado, let's get on with the lockdown show.
Brilliant. Thank you, Paul. You can tell he's an experienced broadcaster, can't you? Okay, more for the Chamber now. We're going to cross over to Clodagh Murphy, and she is going to tell us about a brand new campaign which is encouraging us all to buy more locally. It's called Stronger Together. Clodagh, over to you.
In the early stages of lockdown, Dan Pritchard and I had a chat about post-lockdown recovery. Inspired by this conversation, Exeter Chamber sought to get business and council representation from across the Greater Exeter area together on a regular basis to plan activity that would benefit positively the economy as lockdown restrictions were lifted. We meet on Zoom every Tuesday morning, and we've great representation from across the region. We've got established businesses and startups, we've got councils, we've got different sectors represented. We've got businesses that sit in Exeter and alongside businesses from around the Greater Exeter area. We're aiming to do a small number of things well, and our goal is to make sure that activity we take now will position our economy to rebound as swiftly and as strongly as it possibly can. Our Shop Local campaign is a big part of that. It's aimed at businesses and consumers. If we can keep as much of the spend within the region as possible, that action will make a substantial difference to how our economy rebounds.
Thanks, Clodagh. So I'm Dan Pritchard, Managing Director of Astley Media. And the first campaign we're doing is simple, it's buy local. And we're getting people to do short video clips, sending them in, and we're stitching that all together to put out that first short film. And basically we want people to say who they are, what they buy, and where they're buying it. We are stronger together. So it's very simple, but a lot of people have been involved in putting this together. We've had support from the City Council, the County Council, Grow and Radio X, our fantastic media partners, One Voice Media, Astley Media, design agencies, a whole host of businesses and organisations, Exeter Chamber and Tribe and others. So thank you everyone who's just moved so rapidly to help make this happen. And now we need your help, okay? So virtual lockdown people, what we need is you to watch it, like it, share it. It's going out through this afternoon and then into the coming days, and then respond to it. Do your own short clip and put it out there on your channels, or do that and send it to us so you can go through to the next best of videos. So we're getting ideas to build these and keep the content going and put out new ones in the coming days and weeks. So inquiries at exeterchamber.co.uk for that. So yeah, please get involved, please support it. We are stronger together. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Joff from Grow, and I get my shopping from Halberton Court Farm Shop.
Hi, I'm Rose Reynolds, and I buy bread from Boatyard Cafe down by the quay.
Hello, I'm Matt Young, and I run Mr. Matt Young, a social media agency. I get all of my printing done by the guys at Nettle on Marsh Barton.
My name is Rochelle, and I work on the apprenticeship team at Exeter College.
And we buy our meat and veg from Topsham.
I'm Ben. I can't go to the pub, but I can get local cider delivered.
I am Joanne Kane. I run cathedral appointments in Exeter. I buy my chickens from Greendale Farm.
Hi, I'm Clodagh. I buy my fish from Gibson's Place on Magdalen Road.
I'm Will from Foxhill Films. I usually get my hair cut at the Roots Foundation.
I'm Karen McLeod. I own Head Start Hairdressers. I buy my groceries from J&R Foods based in Exeter.
I'm Matt Roach from Exeter Airport. We buy our signs from Signs Express in Exeter.
I'm Elle Taylor, and I buy my fruit and veg from Bridget's Fruit and Veg stall at Axminster Market.
Hi, I'm Helen Scholes from Exeter Chamber, and I can buy everything I need from Broadway stores.
My name is Leah Watts, and I buy my houseplants from Hutch in Exeter.
I'm Dan, and I buy my cycling accessories from the Bike Shed on 4th Street in Exeter.
We are Red Hill School. We buy our uniform from Stitch to Print in Marsh Barton.
Hello, I'm Kerry Denton, the Head of Economy and Enterprise at Devon County Council, and this is Aussie. We're buying our groceries from Hervitry High Street, and Aussie's dog food's coming from Devon-based firm Fourth Glade in Oakhampton.
Hello, I'm Matthew from Apex, and I get my cider from Sanford Orchards in Crediton. I'm Victoria Hatfield and I buy my wine from Regency Wine in Exeter.
I'm Kelly Johnson. I buy delicious meals from Ebden's Refreshments in Sidwell Street.
I'm Don Armand. I buy my meat from Piper's Farm.
Hi, I'm Tracy in Exeter and I buy my apricots from Nourish.
Hi, my name's Emily and I buy my tea from the House of Hope and Mercy in the Jungle on 4th Street.
Hi, I'm Kimberly. I work at Exeter College apprenticeship team and I buy my vegetables from the Little Gosford Farm Shop in Ottery. We're stronger together.
We are stronger together.
We are stronger together.
We're stronger together.
We're stronger together.
We are stronger together.
We're stronger together.
We're stronger together.
We are stronger together.
We are stronger together.
We are stronger together.
We're stronger together.
We are stronger together.
We are stronger together.
We're stronger together.
We are stronger together.
We're stronger together.
We are stronger together.
We are stronger together.
We're stronger together.
We are stronger together. So we want everybody to get involved with this We Are Stronger Together campaign. If you want to make your own film and then post it onto social media using the hashtag We Are Stronger Together, all one word, We Are Stronger Together, hashtag at the start of it, and that will really help. However, if you'd like yours to appear in the video, like the one you've just seen, then you need to send it into the chamber. So here's the format. You just simply say, I am, and then your name, the things that you buy, and where you buy them from. Then there's a small pause and you say, We Are Stronger Together. When that's ready, stick it all together and you can send it to the Exeter Chamber of Commerce via a website if the file's too large, called wetransfer.com, wetransfer.com, and just send it to inquiries@exeterchamber.co.uk and you could find yourself appearing in the next video. Fantastic. Okay, moving on then. We have our next guest on the show. This is Ben Travers from Stephens Scown. He is the Head of Property, IT and Data Protection. And he is here to help us with our business goals whilst also working sustainably and safely from home.
So there are four main themes that I want to have a look at today, and the first one relates to the use of various online platforms. We saw in the early days of working from home, lots of businesses making some short-term decisions for obvious reasons in survival mode to try and make sure that they could, as much as possible, provide business as usual. But now organisations are starting to pick apart some of those decisions and understand how those quick decisions could have long-term consequences, some negative, some positive, but also how in rethinking those decisions now, it could empower them to change their business plan for a more sustainable future. So the first thing then is to have a look at online platforms. And here there's no getting away from the need for businesses to look at the small print. Apologies for sounding like a lawyer, but there's no substitute for checking the small print. And that's because these online platforms are tools. They're designed for certain purposes. And just like with any tool, you'd make sure you're using the right tool for the right job and that you understand how to use it. The terms and conditions will help you to do that. Also, it's really important to understand that some of the terms and conditions for the platform providers will have quite sticky provisions when it comes to intellectual property. Imagine, for example, a business which provides services. They put lots of blood, sweat and tears into developing their service offering and perhaps documents which explain that service offering. They perhaps upload all of that content to an online service provider so that it can be shared with online customers. They don't check the terms and conditions. They don't realise that the terms and conditions are taking away their control of that intellectual property, perhaps giving the platform a licence to use it, but also giving others a licence to use it. And in the long term, stopping the service provider commercialising that effectively in the future. Another thing to have a look out for in the terms and conditions for online platforms is confidentiality issues. Many businesses will have good reason to want to keep certain information confidential. That might be for sound business planning. It might be because it relates to intellectual property applications. It might be because they're under non-disclosure agreements. A lot of these platforms will not give you the reassurance that you want that the information is going to be confidential. So really check that and make sure that you're not going to be breaching any obligations or scuppering any opportunities in the future. So that's the first thing. Have a look at the terms and conditions, check the small print when it comes to the online platforms that you're using. The second thing, which is linked, is GDPR compliance. We've seen lots of businesses over the last couple of years put in lots of efforts to make sure that their business is GDPR compliant. However, when it first came to working from home, as the lockdown kicked in, lots of businesses threw all of that compliance work out of the window as in the rush to, again, provide business as usual. Making sure that employees are able to work from home securely is really important. Part of that is the choice of platforms. If you're a business that has said that you're not going to share data with a third party, or you're not going to share data outside the European Economic Area, then checking again the terms and conditions of the online platforms that you use is really, really important, because chances are, if you use these platforms to share data, to communicate or to deliver services, you will be sharing data with a third party, and you will be transferring data out to the EEA. So that could influence the choice of platform, but also dictate a change in your communication to the data subjects. Remember, when it comes to the data subjects, the data is theirs. You're using it with their blessing, whether that's through permission or one of the other legal reasons that you may have to use it. So that's the second thing. Have a think about the GDPR obligations. That links into the third thing, which is your requirement to make sure that you are mitigating the risk of being the victim of a cybercrime. We're seeing a bit of a perfect storm in this area at the moment. There's a reported increase in cyber attacks linked to the virus, and we're also seeing employees perhaps more vulnerable than they usually are. Part of that vulnerability comes from the fact that they are working from home a little bit isolated. They're not able to easily turn to a colleague if they receive a suspicious email to check that email out, to check, for example, whether the tone of voice really sounds like it came from the finance director, the sort of thing. Culturally, also, it's really important that businesses are getting that right, as employees have an obligation to report to their employers, and employers have an obligation to act in the event of certain breaches. If culturally the organisation isn't going to encourage employees to put their hand up when something's gone wrong, that's going to be a major problem for employers going forward. It's also really important that employees are trained so they know what to look for and what to do in the event of a cyber attack. But at the moment, that's something that's giving a lot of clients a lot of concern. The fourth thing that I wanted to talk about was reputation. And one of the things that we're seeing is businesses trading in different ways. They are increasing their online footprint, for example, and that does change the medium of communication. It changes the speed of communication as well. You may find that customers who are getting a poor service were, perhaps at the beginning of the lockdown, happy to be a little bit patient, but that patience seems to be wearing away with a lot of consumers. So making sure that you are set up to deliver and meet consumers' needs is really important. It's also really important that your employees working from home are trained and empowered on how to speak with the voice of the brand. And that requires a plan. It requires you to have clear control over your trademarks and your brand protection. It requires you to have a PR plan for should things go wrong. And it requires you to make sure that your staff know how to act in accordance with that plan. Again, at the risk of sounding like a lawyer, trading online and increasing your online footprint creates lots of opportunities, but it also creates risks. Risks around, for example, selling to consumers and their rights of return, risks around brand voice, which we've already spoken about, and risks, for example, about trading in territories which you might not normally trade in. For example, imagine a business that's been trading for 20 years in Devon using one particular brand and has been trading successfully using that brand. When they then come to sell overseas for the first time, as they increase their online footprint, they might find that that brand is registered in other territories, say, for example, the US or Australia, and that they land themselves in trouble by using that brand there. So some really simple checks to back up the plan when it comes to online trading. So I think if there's one theme that unites all those, it's this concept of a plan, and it's the idea that businesses should stop, take a step back, take a deep breath before making any quick decisions, as those quick decisions will have long-term consequences. Getting those decisions right now, and those consequences can be positive, having a revolutionary effect on an organisation's business plan for the future.
Great stuff, Ben. Thank you for your valuable insight today. Don't forget, if you'd like to see Ben a little bit later on, he'll be on our Zoom networking, so make sure you stick around for the end of the show for that. Okay, time to move into the good news section of the show. As you know, if you're a regular viewer, one of my favourite parts. And kicking off today, we have Jamie Vittles from the Exeter City Community Trust.
Hi, my name's Jamie Vittles, Chief Executive of Exeter City Community Trust. We're the partner charity of Exeter City Football Club and deliver mental and physical and health and wellbeing activities across Devon. You may know us for our running events, children's holiday clubs, or the many programmes we run for people of all ages and abilities. This week we were really pleased to announce our new patrons, the Earl and Countess of Devon, Charlie and AJ Courtney, who we first got to know a couple of years ago when we were selected to be Powderham's Charity of the Year. We're really looking forward to working with them. They've got a hands-on approach and it'd be great support in the future. They also took part in our virtual 5k race over the weekend, which was called Take 5. This event is a fundraiser and will support the community work that we're doing. Now we're locked in with the coronavirus, but also the work of our future. We've adapted our services and are working with the City Council and their wellbeing campaign, delivering essential food items, shopping, medical prescriptions, and also emergency food parcels. Lots of our programmes have now moved to virtual delivery, and you may have seen our football fun session on a Saturday morning at St James's Park on Facebook. If you'd like to learn more about our work, please visit our website www.exetercct.org.
Hi, my name's Morven Maclean and I'm the Business Development Coordinator for the Apprenticeship team at Exeter College. I also founded and run Standards and Sparkles, which is a ladies' networking forum made up of key apprenticeship influencers from businesses throughout the region. As with all things at the minute, we've taken our events virtual and so far have held 2 really successful Ladies at Lunch events. At the last one, we were thrilled to be joined by Anna Morrison, CBE, Director of Amazing Apprenticeships, and Ali Cox from the Chartered Management Institute. It was amazing to hear from Ali about all the fantastic work that the CMI is doing in the region at the moment, and also to find out her take on what it's going to be like in the new normal and how important it is to use apprenticeships such as the Level 3 Team Lead and Level 5 Operations Director to upskill your staff. She gave us some amazing case studies of how employers have done this and what the benefits were to their staff.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for having me on the Friday Lockdown Show. I quickly want to share with you some fantastic new opportunities we've recently launched at Sparks to support students during these uncertain times. We're piloting a new learning product called Numerise, which is designed to help improve children's maths at home. There are thousands of Key Stage 3 and GCSE maths questions and help videos just waiting to be answered. And the best part is the maths questions are personalised to a child's level. Secondly, we've created a course within Numerise called Secondary Ready. We've developed this course to help Year 6 students that are preparing to join secondary school this September. In addition to that, we're running live lessons every Tuesday and Friday, mapping to the course. Both these offers are available to parents and carers free of charge until September. So please follow the links provided, sign up today, spread the word, and we welcome you to the Sparks family. Thank you.
Our good news story is that despite all of the challenges, uncertainties and difficulties that the lockdown currently poses, Balloons, the local child bereavement charity in Exeter, is still able to provide support for grieving children and young people. When you think about what makes up a civilised society, a cornerstone value is that it is one where vulnerable children are held and supported at the most difficult of times. That's what we do and what we continue to do. Bereavement and grief will become even more complex and traumatic due to the global pandemic, but over the next few days, weeks and months, we commit to reaching out to those that need us so that their grief can be honoured and heard and that they can be supported to adapt and find coping mechanisms that help. Left alone, children will be overwhelmed by their grief. We aim to ensure that they are not left alone. We're proud to be part of a community that even in the toughest of times doesn't turn its back on those who need us. We send you love and best wishes from everyone here at the Balloons team.
Mary Pugsley MB, and I'm the founder of Hair at the Academy, a unique training salon delivering hairdressing, barbering, customer service, maths and English and employability skills to those furthest away from education, young people and adults. The Academy supports the most challenged people, people that are homeless, people that are unemployed and simply need help to get back into the workplace. We have a 90% pass rate of getting these young people back. We were turning 3 or 4 people away a week. We didn't have the capacity, and now, thanks to the generosity of the incorporation of Weavers, Fullers and Shearmen, based at Tuckers Hall, we have Cornerstone Building, a freehold building that will enable us to double, if not triple, our intake of young people, taking them into a new era of education. There's a lot of people that I need to thank, and unfortunately in this video there's not enough time, but I would like to thank Glenn King, who has been by my side now for 2 years on a pro bono basis, and without her introductions we would not be in this amazing position that we're in now. So thank you to Glenn, thank you to everybody that's been involved and given their time and support free of charge. We are eternally grateful, as are the students. This is a good news story in troubled times. Thank you.
This really is a fantastic city, isn't it? Okay, if you'd like to have something on next week's Good News section of the show, you can email it to us, inquiries@exeterchamber.co.uk. Right, moving on to the next part then, we have Olly from Sandler Training joining us on today's show. Olly, good afternoon.
Hey Matt, no worries at all, and thanks very much for having me. It's great to be here.
Olly is here to talk to us today about planning your sales strategy as we emerge from lockdown. Olly, it's over to you.
So look, when it comes to really thinking about your sales strategy, here at Sandler, we think about dividing your current market up into 4 segments, right? And I don't think that this has ever been more important than right now. The famous philosopher Mike Tyson once said that everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face, right? And I think that right now there are a lot of businesses out there and salespeople and sales managers feeling kind of like that, right? You know, this COVID-19 crisis has been tough. So let's have a think about this quadrant that we use in Sandler. Really, there are 4 sections. And it's used to help you divide up your account base and your prospective account base, and then plan some specific actions around each. So the acronym we use is CARE, K-A-R-E. And K stands for keep, right? So in any business, when you're looking at your current account base, there'll be some great clients that you currently work with that you want to keep. So when thinking about those clients, there are a couple of things to do. Firstly is identify what a good keep account looks like for you. Probably highly profitable, probably relatively low maintenance, probably got good existing relationships with more than 1 or 2 individuals within that business. But on the flip side with keep, there's probably limited opportunity to grow that account any further. So it's kind of just maintaining that account. Then the A in CARE stands for attain, right? So where keep is about account management, attain is really about business development. And again, when it comes to attain, it's about thinking about the type of client that you'd like to work with, profiling what that business or that individual looks like in terms of geography, perhaps, in terms of the size of the business, the type of thing that they do. Really understanding and having clarity around the type of businesses or individuals that you'd like to work with and what they look like and where they hang out. And then in the same way with you did with your keep accounts, it's really about thinking about the activities that you need to undertake in order to engage those accounts. Could be prospecting telephone calls. It could be setting up referral partnerships. It could be working with your marketing team on thinking about how you can get a database of those attain accounts to speak with. So you've got keep, right, existing accounts that you do good business with. You've got attain, those accounts that you don't currently do business with that you'd like to. Then the R stands for recapture. And recapture, as the name suggests, are really those accounts that maybe in the past you did some good business with, but for whatever reason you no longer do. And it's important with those accounts that something's changed. And with COVID, certainly it's likely that something has changed. So perhaps digging into your CRM or your invoices and going back a couple of years and uncovering any opportunities with past accounts that you think it would be worth getting back in touch with. And again, the activity is really about identifying those accounts, could be 5, 10, 20, 100 of them, and then mapping out what you need to do in order to re-engage those businesses. So that's keep, attain, recapture. And then finally expand, right? So the E is for expand. And with those expand accounts, they share in common with the keep that they're existing clients. But unlike those keep accounts, there's probably additional opportunity to work with them. Maybe you only sell 1 or 2 of your existing services or products into that account and you think you could be able to sell more to them. Maybe you could grow that account by selling more of what you already sell into that account to that business, individual or organization. So that in a very brief summary is what we think about when it comes to strategic planning with sales for Sandler. That's your strategic growth plan. Breaking out your accounts, keep, attain, recapture, expand, mapping out what each one of them looks like, and then wrapping around that an activity plan to go out and contact and grow each of those opportunities. And then the final thing that I'd mention is something that we think is really key, which is accountability. So making sure that as you map out that plan, you're putting a set number of behaviours, a set number of phone calls, meetings, emails, referrals, whatever goes into your mix. You're really mapping out a set number, a quota each week of the level of activity going into each of those quadrants, and then that you found an accountability partner within your business. Could be a manager, could be a colleague, to make sure that you're doing what you need to do on a daily and weekly basis. That's something at Sandler that we call a cookbook. So look, I hope that was useful, and that's really what we at Sandler call the care plan. I wish you good luck with your sales.
Thanks, Ollie. That's really useful indeed. Sales can be seen as a bit of a dark art to some of us, but that has made it a whole lot less daunting. Thank you very much indeed for your time today.
Matt, no worries. It's been great to be here. I always enjoy the lockdown show, so thank you for having me along.
As with several of our other guests today, Ollie will be joining us on our Zoom networking later on, so if you have any more questions for him, make sure you join us there after today's show. Okay, moving on to our tips and tricks section of the show, and we've had the whole team digging around the internet today to help find ways to improve your workflow. And today's focus is going to be firmly on, guess what? Video conferencing. Starting off with this little gem today, messenger rooms. Here's a useful article about how to use Facebook's free new video chat feature. It can host up to 50 people in a single room with no time limit, and they don't even have to have a Facebook account. Zoom, beware. Next up, it's Miro. It's an online collaborative whiteboard platform. They've basically built a platform for modern working, enabling distributed and remote teams to communicate and collaborate across various different time zones, without the constraints of physical location, meeting space, and a whiteboard. Looks pretty cool to me. In another effort to stop the video conferencing powerhouse that is Zoom, Google has expanded its Meet communications app to be available to anyone with a Gmail account. Previously, it had only been open to those with a pay-for G Suite or education account. You'll be able to meet up with 100 people, and there is currently no time limit, but after September the 30th, meetings will be limited to 60 minutes. Zoom are under the cosh. Now in this story, Adobe are actually attempting to help Zoom with something called virtual backgrounds. Thanks to those virtual backgrounds, you can now further customize your presence in a video meeting with a background image of your choice. And there are several templates for you to choose from as well. It was all too good to be true. Time for some more bad news for Zoom, I'm afraid. Two developers have got together and created some free software designed to make Google's Meet more like Zoom. It's called Google Meet Enhancement Suite, or it rhymes. And if you are a Google fan, or perhaps just not a fan of Zoom, it could be just what you need right now. Okay, everything you needed to know about all the latest technology to help you with your video conferencing. I hope you found that useful. Okay, moving on to then our headline spot for today, and I'm delighted to introduce to you a speaker, trainer and consultant in mental well-being. It is the brilliant Jill Hayes. Jill, welcome to this afternoon's show.
Matt, it's an absolute pleasure. Thanks very much for inviting me.
As part of Mental Health Awareness Week, Jill is here to teach us how we can look after our mental health during this crisis. Jill, it's over to you.
The COVID crisis is probably the biggest collective curveball to hit the world, certainly in my lifetime. It's been a time of massive fear and uncertainty. People are worried about their livelihoods, their health, their loved ones, their future. Plus, many people are living in isolation, which is causing great loneliness. And we know that loneliness is so bad for our well-being. In fact, research has shown that loneliness can be as bad for our health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. The challenges of working from home, juggling homeschooling with work commitments, job insecurity, these are just some of the challenges that our workforce are facing. And as business leaders, we have a duty of care to our employees, whether furloughed or not. And with home working, it's much harder to pick up on early warning signs that people may be struggling than when we're seeing them every day in an office environment. So what are those early warning signs that we need to look out for? Well, you might notice people are becoming more irritable than usual. They might be coming across as very tired, showing they may be having problems sleeping. Maybe they're finding it hard to complete everyday tasks or really having problems focusing. So if you're experiencing any of that, just check in with people. That could be a sign. In addition, don't be afraid to ask the question, how are you? Now, expect to be rebuffed with an I'm fine. Try asking again, how are you really? Delve a little deeper. I know this is a tough time. Tell me about the challenges you're facing. How are you really coping? But if you are going to expect an honest answer, you have got to create that culture of openness and honesty and make it easy for people to open up and confess that all may not be well under the surface and that actually they're really struggling. But remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. So whilst we must be looking out for our staff, equally, we've got to be looking out for ourselves. We've got to be looking after our own well-being and mental health if we are going to be there for others. Now, as many of you may well know, this week is Mental Health Awareness Week, and it has as its theme, kindness. Now, I think this is really exciting. We have the opportunity to create a new world order post-corona. We know that pre-corona, we had a little bit of room for improvement in the kindness stakes. For example, will we really be that kind to our planet? We know that Brexit had opened up all sorts of divisions and we weren't always being kind to each other when it came to that. And suicide statistics were on the increase, and we've got this huge mental health crisis, really worryingly amongst our young people in particular. The great thing about kindness is that it's been scientifically proven. Doing good does us good. By helping others, we help ourselves. When we perform acts of kindness, our bodies release all these feel-good chemicals, oxytocin, sometimes known as the love hormone, endorphins that we normally associate with exercise. You can get endorphins without even having to put on your trainers. Serotonin, the neurotransmitter that affects things like our mood and our sleep patterns and our appetite. And a lack of serotonin is very often associated with depression. So as well as getting all these feel-good hormones, we're reducing our stress hormone, cortisol, which interestingly, a reduction in cortisol also slows down the aging. So another great benefit. Acts of kindness have been shown to reduce stress, anxiety, depression. The great thing is that kindness is contagious. Even witnessing a kind act puts people in a good mood and makes it more likely for them to pay it forward, creating, if you like, some kind of kindness ripple. Acts of kindness don't have to be grand gestures. Saying thank you, paying a compliment, checking in on a friend that you know might have been struggling. These are all easy things that we can all do. And I challenge you to all go out and for the next week do a random act of kindness every single day. See how it makes you feel. I want to just leave you with the words of Aesop. No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted.
Jill, that was truly, truly wonderful. Thank you very much indeed for your time this afternoon.
Matt, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
I'm very proud to say that I'm still sporting my calendar that I bought from Jill at the end of last year, helping raise money for the charity that she runs. It's brilliant. Thank you very much again to Jill for her time today. And if you'd like to hear more from her, she will be with us on the Zoom networking after today's show. Okay, final section for you today before we go networking. This is the brilliant Caroline Creer telling us about an event they've put together for the Devon Air Ambulance Trust.
Like all businesses, the last few months have been quite a challenge for us. And in order to be able to carry on providing the service we do, we've had to adapt the way that we fundraise. We currently don't have any of our shops open, which is a massive blow to us. So we really need to be looking at other ways of bringing in that income. So this week, we're absolutely delighted that we've launched our first ever virtual online event. The Base to Base event is a 40-mile virtual challenge. Now, 40 miles is a distance between our Exeter Airport airbase and our North Devon airbase at Eagles Court Airfield just outside of Burrington. Now, what we're asking people to do is to sign up, register that you're going to take part in this and support Devon Air Ambulance. Now, it is free to enter, but we would encourage people to make a small donation at the point of registering. There's also the option to take part as an individual, or you can set up your own team, maybe challenge your family members or business associates. It's a great way to get lots of other people you know involved and have a little bit of fun along the way. So as I said, really easy to do. We really hope that we can count on your support here.
So that's the Base to Base challenge from the Devon Air Ambulance Trust. Do you fancy it? I know a couple of people that have already signed up. Okay, that's us done for today, but don't go anywhere. We first of all want you to sign up for next week's show. Episode 8 next Friday, 2 o'clock, all the usual times. You can do that now in the bottom left-hand corner of the show, but we're hanging around for a bit longer today. We're going networking. Over on Zoom, there should now be a link in the right-hand chat button for you there. Click on that link or copy and paste it into a browser and join Helen Scholes, who will be facilitating our networking this afternoon over on Zoom. If you can't join us, never mind, you'll be missed, but have a very wonderful, warm and happy bank holiday weekend, and hopefully we'll see you next Friday for another edition of the Exeter Chamber of Commerce Lockdown Show. Until then, stay safe, stay happy, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.